Welcome back to the Balanced Poly podcast for ambitious women in business and a few brave men. I'm your host, Naketa Ren Thigpen, always excited to be in the room with you. And for this reason, I am extra excited because I've had the opportunity to build a relationship that I'm continuing to build, and I hope to continue to build with this phenomenal soul for the last few months by the time that you guys are hearing this recording, which is right before my birthday. Whoop, whoop. So we have all of that good energy happening right now. All right. I want to introduce you to my new friend, Theresa Lear Levine. She has been helping female entrepreneurs and moms for nearly 25 plus years, helping them break free from emotional trauma, anxiety, especially for the high functioning anxiety folk out there, which I totally understand and relate to because people don't see the invisible illness that you are struggling with when you know that you are dope and amazing and incredible in all the things you do, and you still have these other things that you have to deal with because you're suffering with high functioning anxiety. Theresa is the girl for you, or should I say, the woman, the queen for you, because she is amazing at it. She uses emotional freedom techniques. Some people know this as EFT. She helps you with her chakra strategies, and she also happens to use energy psychology as just one of her many modalities for helping you break free from the limiting patterns that are literally anchoring you into a part of yourself that you've been ready to let go. You just weren't sure how to do it. Theresa, welcome to the BBP today. How are you?
Oh my goodness, Naketa. Thank you. And thank you for having me here. I'm so excited. I can't believe we only have like 25 minutes to talk about all those things that you just mentioned. I don't know how we're possibly even going to get through this. But I'm excited. And I have a May birthday too. That hasn't come up before, but I guess we've got the energy in the house of all the May birthdays going on right now.
Yes, absolutely. Which I love on so many levels. The energy is just, vibrating at the frequency it is meant to.
Are you a Taurus or a Gemini?
I'm actually a Leo. I'm a July birthday by the time that this recording is being released. So you can't see the lioness in me.
And you're in future time. I see how this works.
Yes, that quantum bridge that we're...
You didn't tell me to pretend it was July already. All the time.
No, it's all right. The full transparency at the BBP all the time. We're always recording a few months ahead. So by the time everyone is hearing this, they're getting some May love coming from your birthday vibration and some July love from mine. Which is awesome.
Illusion anyway, right?
Yeah. Oh, now you know that is a whole conversation, right? A whole nother. So I would love for you to just take a moment and share some of the current ways that you are helping your clients, because I know with the way that you lean in between the service that you provide as well as you hosting the Becoming More Me podcast, which I love, by the way. I'm a fan and a subscriber. Oh. And the fact that you're sharing all those good tips and those really vulnerable, honest stories, which also help your clients currently. I know that you've really been a representative of authenticity. And I know that word is overused because not everyone is actually being authentic, but you are truly showing up fully that way. And with our past conversations, I can stand in that and say that I honor you for that. So I would love for you to share why you chose the path that you have with working with women, female entrepreneurs and moms in the way that you have, and what it's done for your life and your work life and love balance.
Sure. Well, I'm happy to. And I really appreciate those compliments. They mean a lot to me. I do think that word's really overused too. And it almost feels weird using it because I feel like people don't receive it authentically.
Right.
Anyway, my best work comes from the things I'm able to help people with that I've already helped myself with, or that I continue to help myself with. And that is how and why it's so authentic, because it's not trying to stand in something that I'm not or haven't been. Yeah. And so, with that in mind, my past traumatic experiences, my ADHD, my high functioning anxiety, all those things that I used to see as obstacles or blocks or things that made me feel stuck. Those are the things that I used to experiment when I wanted to learn how to unblock my energy, how to elevate my consciousness, how to feel genuinely positive and to feel supported and grateful in my life. And as I learned to do that and had such success with it, it only seemed natural to help other amazing women like you, some brave men.
That's right.
So that's what I love to do because it's what I know and it's what I
Yeah.
have experience with. And being somebody with high functioning anxiety and ADHD, which is natural curiosity, really, it's amazing and it's good stuff. But it also, I started to kind of gather all these different things. Okay, so I'll learn to meditate. Okay, so I'll learn visualization. I'll take a course in this. I'll get a certification here. I'll do this. I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to feel like, God, I don't have time to do all those things. And I really don't want to do all of them anyway. And the position that I kind of get to put myself in when I coach and help other people is being able to allow them to kind of relax into our time and space together and know that I'm holding them and I will help them to find the best techniques, the best modalities, the best ways to do what they need to do without them feeling like they have to hold space for all the things.
Right.
Because nobody's got time for that. You need somebody to guide you and be like, okay, so maybe today's more of a visualization day, or maybe today we need to tap, or maybe today you just need to honor everything that you've done so far. And, it's not always about all the things combined. Sometimes it's about the best thing, the best, therapy or a release that you need at that moment. And that takes you to that next level of consciousness. So that's what I really like being able to do, is to have this enormous toolbox and vast, breadth of knowledge. But the knowledge doesn't mean anything without the ability to put it into action.
Right.
So I know how to help people do that and to get really good results using what's going to be right at the time for them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we vibe in the same way in that respect of having a wide toolbox, but not needing to pull out all the tools just to show that we're handy, right? Like being able to use the right thing at the right time for the right person in whatever we're trying to resolve that will unstuck them and unblock them so they can get to that next, step in their process along their journey.
Yes. No one really cares about our degrees, our certifications, our tools, or even sometimes what we've even been through. But people do care that you can help them feel better and that you care about them while you're doing it.
Absolutely. 1,000%. Now you are a wife, a mom of 4 boys. You got 2 labs. You have a full, robust life. When you're doing
I love the way you avoid busy, Naketa.
Right? I know, that's the word I try not to use, right? Like very intentionally. You know that very well at this point. But you do have a really robust and I dare say productive and full life, right? Like there's the busyness of just stuffing stuff. And then there's you being strategic and deliberate. And I feel in our previous conversations, you're a really deliberate human. Like you really are. And
I am.
With that, and you working with the women that you work with and holding space, there's no better way to say that. Holding space for all the things, even the things that they can't quite process in the moment because, you're being methodical in how you're helping them release the things that don't belong and that are holding them down and all that. Yet you still have this other side of you, right? This like, listen, I am a woman, hear me roar. And I want fun and love and sex and all the things. And I also am a parent. Like, how are you creating the spaciousness for yourself to make sure that you can do, dare I say, all the things, right?
Goodness gracious. How am I doing that?
You're balancing boldly. That's how.
True. And it is happening. I really do feel as balanced as I feel is possible. Sometimes I feel like balance is a myth. And sometimes I feel like, okay, it's available. And I go back and forth there. And I guess it's realizing that not every day is balanced.
Come on.
I mean, I talked to my kids this morning and I looked at my schedule and it's all perspective, right? So I'm looking at my schedule and I said, you know what, guys, today's going to be amazing. But this is honestly the busiest day mommy's had in months. I said, and I told them all the different things I have going on. My oldest has all these AP exams, needs rides. I got 2 different bus outages for other kids. They need rides. I'm recording 3 different shows today. I have my son's spring concert this evening. Need to get them, all the things. And I looked at the calendar and I'm like, I have 3 20-minute breaks in between all these things in my entire day. the time I wake up until my head hits the pillow. So
Mm-hmm.
on a day like today, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
leaning into appreciating all the amazing opportunities that the day is bringing me and all the cool opportunities I have to see, like what my kids have been up to and then
Yeah.
bringing to fruition, whether it's through testing or through performing or whatever else, and just basking in that. Whereas perhaps, 10 years or more ago, it might have been like, oh, it's too busy. I can't get anything done. I'm never going to, get what I need done today done. And it's just, oh, everything's working against me. I'm too busy.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do see it more as that robust life that you talk about. And I'm always looking for the upside of things, but I'm feeling it genuinely. I'm not faking it. And I know that the EFT toolbox that I tap into, no pun intended,
I accept it.
is really helpful in bringing out that genuine positivity because I get to acknowledge that the not so positive stuff does exist too.
Right.
And that in and of itself helps me create balance, and it helps me create consciousness when there's not balance so that I can get back to it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And an underlined highlight here is creating your balance, right? Like the formula that I designed for balance is really admitting the truth of what you want over the boundaries that you create so you can achieve that truth as reality. So if your truth is, I'm here to hold space for these women and to help them with these tools in my toolbox in the way that I know could really release them from those limiting patterns, that anxiety, those emotional, traumatic tethers that are literally anchoring them to a part of themselves that they've been wrestling with for many women, decades by the time they might have actually come into your space, your ecosystem and met you. If that's really your truth, and being a phenomenal wife and mother and having space and spaciousness for yourself, then you creating those boundaries of making sure that you have 20 minutes to take a bio break, multiple times in a day. And I'm sure your bladder thanks you, by the way, for ever having multiple.
I've had 4 kids, Naketa.
Woo! Right. That part.
I will probably force some unplanned breaks.
Exactly.
Those 3.
Exactly. But the fact that you're doing it, like that is you creating it, right? You're creating not only your balance, but your reality and your joy. And as robust and as full as today is, first of all, you look good. There's that, right? You don't look like you're wearing skates underneath all of that. You're not sparkling with sweat, but you look good. You look positioned. You look like you are in your zone. And to your point
I love
earlier,
what I do.
You're not faking it because you love what you do, which makes all the difference in the world.
Extra robust. I am responsible for creating that extra robustness. It has not been put on me. So,
right.
If I don't like it, then I need to change it.
Right. Yeah, that's such a powerful point. Now, here's a question, because I can hear, our audience is like roughly 80% entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs that have identified as female entrepreneurs that are listening.
People.
Right. Like we love people. But as I'm thinking of some of the questions that I'm sure that are going to come in after people hear it, is to that point of, I didn't have this put on me. This is what I intentionally set out to do. For anyone who's in a stage in their business, for those female entrepreneurs, let's just say that also happen to be moms that are listening to this episode, that we know that you're going to rave about and you're going to review it and you're going to share it with another woman that you love, small plug, with that. What would you say to them if they feel like they're in this space in their business where they really want the option to create their reality their way, but they're feeling torn with obligations to how they said they would show up in their businesses? Maybe they said they would do, I don't know, I'm making it up. They would do one-to-ones, but they're feeling overwhelmed by the one-to-ones, probably because of the investment point that they've aligned with. And I know you talk a lot about manifestation and how it really works, right, and how you can make it work for you, but they're feeling stuck, to use a word that I've also seen you use. They're really feeling stuck in this space. Like, yeah, but I've had pretty okay success, but I'm burnt out from the way that I was doing it. And I really just don't know what else to do to untether myself from that because it's causing anxiety for me. What gift would you have for them?
Well, I think that most of our issues like that, when we're feeling stuck, come from a place of something not feeling familiar or not feeling safe to us. Mm. So when I would look at something like that with somebody or my client, we would be looking at things that might have brought up those kind of feelings for them previously in life. so that we can work through those with some EFT tapping and some chakra realignment, getting our life force kind of in line. See if there's anything there, because I don't like to dwell in the past, but I do know that when we have a blockage that is creating something that's showing up in our present, which is the only place we can really be experiencing anything, that if it came from something in the past, it's much easier to resolve it in the present if we can kind of knock that out.
Yeah.
So if we can get rid of that resistance and that energetic blockage, because it's something that's older than just feeling stuck because of your clients now, or because of how you align with the way that you're doing your business or whatever, then I find that to be better, because that usually also, it's like a domino effect, you know, and the further back in the timeline that you can kind of knock out the energetic blockage, the more things naturally kind of fall down, and it also benefits the present issue.
Yeah.
And with EFT work, it's a matter of getting to the root cause, because once you get to the root, you don't have the problem anymore. Whereas we could treat and look at, you know, why they're feeling this way in the present moment around the clients or whatever else. And we might even get them feeling better or more positive or motivated to, you know, do whatever it is that's going to make them feel unstuck. But the likelihood is that maybe even in the next iteration of their business or whatever they decide to do next, they're probably going to feel that way again. And so you can keep kind of slapping the Band-Aid on, or, you know, taking the proverbial, you know, Tylenol or whatever to kind of like motor through it. But it doesn't feel good to push through things and to force your way where you want. It feels good to align and to flow into the places and spaces where you want to be in your business and every other area of your life. And it's possible and it's available right now for anybody. So I don't know why anybody would want to do it any other way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you're looking at the fact that you don't want people to just, what do they call it? Put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And you're, you know, you feel better for like 0.2 seconds, which could look like 2 years or 2 months or through the end of that project that you're working on. But the bleeding does break through, and ultimately so does the pain.
You might be able to clot it on the outside, but internally there's still all sorts of things breaking down that aren't working the way that they're supposed to. So you gotta look at the whole system. And we are a whole system. We're not, you know, just body, and we're not just mind. We've got emotions and spirit and all sorts of other things. And the modalities that I like to use and the strategies really honor the whole, and not just one part.
Oh, this is another reason why you're my friend. All right. You have this full, robust life with everything. You're a podcast host. You are an entrepreneur. You are serving your community in very detailed ways. And then obviously you're building relationships and, you know, dare I say, shaking hand and kissing babies, all the networking things that we have to do along the way to vet out who the people are we want to build relationships with, and whatever that looks like. With all that you have going on, how do you make space to give yourself permission to pause?
I honestly just have to just do it. Like, it's totally like a Nike moment. It's like I can just do it. I've gotten so much better about looking at like my to-do list, or looking at what I think I would like to, in a perfect world, get done in a day.
Yeah.
And then looking at what the world's actually showing up like that day, as far as my actual schedule or what my kids need from me or how I want the day to feel. And just saying, well, guess what? That means that this 2-hour task that's sitting on my calendar, it's not getting done today. And I sure as shit am not going to sit here and guilt myself about it if it's not going to get done, because my life doesn't have the spaciousness for it right now, or I don't choose to prioritize it and make room for it. It's getting moved down the line, whether that's tomorrow or never. And I'm not going to give myself crap about it. So yeah, it's just, I mean, I will honor and protect my afternoon, like nap / hypnosis / tapping / meditation, whatever I want my afternoon little downtime to be, over and above anything else. I'll cancel an appointment if I need to, whatever. I've just learned that without that, I can become a little bit not friendly.
Right.
I choose to embrace the friendly side of myself and keep myself rejuvenated over and above pretty much anything else. And that did not happen overnight. So at this point, it's just do it. It's just like, I know better and I can do better now. But for a while, it was knowing better and not knowing how to do better yet.
Oh, there's so much meat in what you just said for everyone to chew on. Like, for so many reasons of everything you said about wanting to honor and hold room for your kindness, right? Like, in being a kind person, because I often say I'm not a nice person. Nice and kindness are two very different things.
I can be not nice.
Right. Absolutely. And you show up as kind wherever you show up because, and my wording, you're creating that space to be intentionally selfish enough to honor your body, your mind, your spirit, and go beyond what other people would have expected of you as a successful entrepreneur and CEO of your company. You're like, listen, I get to be that thing and do that thing without resentment and without regret because I hold that space for me, regardless of how many people are knocking on the door and ringing the doorbell. This is my time.
Because at the end of the day, while I am a mom and I am an entrepreneur, I am not really those things. I am love. And if I'm showing up in any way that doesn't represent that, then I am not being authentically me. Something is off. Something needs to be realigned, adjusted, tapped out, whatever.
Tapped out. I know. I'm such a cornball and a nerd on so many levels. So I get these jokes all the way through.
Yes, for those who don't, my main modality, EFT, emotional freedom techniques, is also known as tapping, which leaves a lot of room for puns that usually I only understand. But my metaphysician friend here gets me.
Exactly.
So we're giggling here, but we're not trying to be exclusive about it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm just weird and I embrace it. So it's all good. So, Theresa, how can people connect with you and learn more about the work you do and the programs and, of course, the podcast?
Yeah, well, we talked about it before. We're going to do this in just a second. Naketa and I are going to do a tapping round together that I would love to give as a gift to your listeners. So that'll be created right after we finish recording here. And then you can just email me, Theresa at theresalearlevine.com, and put Balance Boldly as a subject line. If you want to drop me a note and say, hey, that's awesome. If you just put Balance Boldly and click send, that's cool too. I will make sure that you get the goods. And then I know we didn't talk a whole lot about EFT or what emotional freedom techniques are today, or kind of the combination of the type of work that I do. But if you go to theresasfreegift.com, that's THERESAS freegift.com, then I will send you my 5 Minutes to Freedom ebook, which is full of all these really insightful exercises that you can do to learn how emotionally free you are or aren't, so that you know what you need to work on, to scribe about things, and also a lot of good tapping videos so that you can choose something that aligns with maybe what you're challenged with at the moment and see what changes for you when you try the modality, because it's pretty empowering, very powerful, and amazing what can change in just a few minutes.
Okay, first of all, I'm loving the lushness of all these gifts. Thank you from all of the Balance Bully podcast listeners. We appreciate gifts. We love things. So thank you.
I love giving them.
Theresa, we honor your time. We're so grateful for you carving this space out for us and making sure that you give me some of your goodness with EFT, that I'm going to wrap this podcast up so I can get that, y'all, because I am intentionally selfish.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for everything you do, Naketa. You're amazing. And I'm so glad that we've developed a friendship and gotten to know one another, because I love what you bring into the world.
Oh, thank you. All right, is this a setup to have me crying before my EFT session? Okay. All right. Theresa's face said, whatever works. It was right there. I saw it on your face. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Balance Boldly listeners, what did I tell you? Like, we are not playing games in 2022. The best of the best. Theresa Lear Levine is so incredible. And please honor yourself by checking out her podcast, subscribing so you can get notifications of when she goes live. It's Becoming More Me. It's literally listed in the bottom of the show notes wherever you are listening to this from. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, so on and so forth. Just scroll down and check it, click it, and subscribe. And make sure that you go get one of her free gifts. I will say, standing in full honesty and authority of who I am as a balance and relationship advisor, you do yourself so much justice when you make sure that you have what you need before you need it. You don't want to be in crisis and then scrambling to try to figure out where to go, because you honestly end up going towards people, places, and things that aren't in your best interest when you're going from that crisis side of your mind. So have the tools available, have the people in your directory available that you need. And Theresa is one of the people that you want on your list and your Rolodex. I know I'm dating myself by using it, but just roll with it. Until next time, I want you to enjoy the balance of your day, but remember, do it boldly.